Hello, welcome to this week's Q&A, everybody. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely summer so far. I am loving all of the selfies at the squad. They're absolutely fantastic. Gang, keep them coming. You know, when you see sweaty selfies, like workout selfies, I feel like it's so motivational and really inspirational because someone will say, oh, I've just done this workout and it was brilliant, by the way, feel amazing now. You see that, like, huh. Okay, I might try that one later then. Or oh, I wasn't going to do a workout, but I am now because actually I've seen that and yeah, I want to feel like that too. So I just think it's so inspirational, so motivational. And honestly, on my newsfeed at the moment, it is like a ray of Lorna's Online Squad sunshine. So please keep them coming. I'm loving it. And also, how are you getting on with the push-up challenge? If you find push-ups hard, get yourself on this challenge. It is not too late. Get yourself on the push-up challenge, team. Right, time for the Q&A. So we've got a few sections today. We're going to talk about mindset and motivation first, a little bit on nutrition, eating habits, and then we're going to go into more of the exercise kind of thing, maybe a bit more, technicalities, etc. So if we begin with mindset and motivation, I feel like this is going to be relevant for absolutely all of us. If not now, then at some point in the future, because sometimes it is hard to get motivated. And sometimes if you've, had a few days where you've not been very well, getting back into it can be really tricky. So let's talk about this. The question number one is, I feel like I've lost a bit of momentum after a couple of sick days. Have you got any tips? Now, I think this happens to all of us. And the thing is, when you're coming back from not being very well, your immune system is going to be down a little bit. Your energy is going to be down a little bit because your body's just been doing so much behind the scenes to get better. So first of all, acknowledge that it's totally normal. We've been out of routine. It happens to all of us. And don't beat yourself up. A few days off, particularly when your body really needs it, isn't a setback. It's just part of life and part of what we have to do. We have to honor our body. And actually, the fastest way to get better when you're not very well is to rest up. So your body can use any energy, any excess energy to recover. But having said that, the best thing to do is to not wait until you feel motivated to get back into it again, because it's not a thing. It's not a thing. And it's actually my pet hate when people come to me and say, I'm not motivated. I'm like, well, cool. Oh, the majority of people are not motivated. Do not rely on it to work out. Do not rely on it. Put on your big girl panties and get on with it. And then, sorry, this isn't for when you're ill, obviously. This is just me going off on one. But it's true. Action creates motivation. You can't wait to feel motivated. It does not happen. You've got to do the thing. And then you feel amazing, and that creates motivation in itself to do it again. So we can't wait to feel motivated, but we're just coming back after not being very well. So we just want to pick something small. Pick one small thing, go to the bolt-on area, do something that is 10 minutes or less to get back into it. Even just logging onto the classes, you're halfway there. That's the hard bit. So as soon as you're there, just do something that is short and maybe do something that is a bit more chilled, just to reignite that momentum again. And also remind yourself why you're doing it. Like, why are you working out? Why did you actually get started on this? Have you got a specific goal that you're trying to work on? Or are you actually just wanting to be fit and healthy and energized and feel amazing in your day-to-day life? Think about that. Go after that feeling. And of course, just getting into, say, like the Facebook group, popping in there, telling everyone how you're feeling, and everyone will be straight to support you. So don't be afraid to stay accountable or ask for others. What did you guys do when you weren't very well? Ask for advice. What did you do when you weren't very well? How did you get back into it? Where did you start? Just, had a few days off. We're all here to support each other, and it's all part of being a human. So yeah, do use the Facebook group as well. Now, next question. Could you talk a bit about mental work behind eating and exercising, truly being self-care, and not tipping over into feeling like another stick to beat ourselves with? This is such an important one. I mean, eating well, nourishing our body, giving our body what it needs, and exercising are acts of self-care. They should be acts of self-care. But sometimes without realizing, they can become another box that we feel like we have to tick, or worse, a source of guilt. Now, the shift is, it's all a mindset. So when you stop thinking in terms of punishing your body or punishing yourself for the things that you have or haven't done, or the things that you may have eaten, for example, or trying to compensate. So the awful cycle of, oh, I ate that, so I better make sure I work out tomorrow or work out tonight. rather than actually focusing on why you're exercising and how it feels, and thinking about, does this food nourish me? Like, what does my body actually need? Well, it needs lean protein, it needs some whole grains, it needs minerals, it needs vitamins. Like, what does my body need in order to thrive? And when you think about putting fuel into a car as well, you've got to put decent fuel in. If you put absolutely rubbish fuel in, or you put the wrong kind of fuel in, the car's not going to work and it's not going to go very far, is it? So you've got to think about the quality of what you're putting into your body. So in terms of eating well, it's nourishment. We're not trying to beat ourselves up by eating well. We are nourishing the body. But that also means part of that, and part of the balance, is having a little bit of what you want too. And that might include less nutrient dense foods. And that is to feed the soul and to feed the mind. It might be for social occasions. So we're going out, we're having glasses of wine, we're having desserts, we're having pizza, whatever it might be for you. It's also it's part of balanced lifestyle. But what we've got to think is, the majority of time, 70% of the time roughly, I'm giving my body what it needs to thrive. Then I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing a good thing here. And then working out as well. Why do we work out? We work out to make sure that we're fit, we're healthy, we're strong. So it comes from a place of caring for your body. I want my muscles to be strong, to be able to protect my bones. I want to be fit enough to run around with the kids, or maybe grandkids or whatever. You want to be fit enough. So it's the fact that it's coming from a place of care. You're wanting to be stronger and to be fitter. Because when you are, it changes the quality of your life, and it changes absolutely everything. And I think it's also about releasing that all or nothing mindset. Consistency over time wins above everything else. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep showing up for yourself in some way, because you are more than worth it. You are more than worth the effort. So I think it really comes from a place of, the reason I eat well and the reason I work out is so that I can have a really good quality of life, to enjoy my life. And when I'm the healthiest, most energized version of me, I have a much better life. And also it just shines out of me. I just flourish in all other areas of life when I focus on truly looking after me. And it's not a punishment. It's the most amazing thing. And the best gift that I could give to my body and myself is to look after me. And that's what it's all about. And I think also, it is that whole, trying not to stick to perfection all the time. Yes, we make a plan. And I know I spoke about ticking boxes, but it is nice to, and I mean, I make a plan for my workouts. I love ticking them off. But if I need to be flexible with it, if something happens in the day and for whatever reason, I just can't do that workout at that time or on that day, it's okay. It's okay. I can just move it to another time. That's absolutely fine. But it's showing up for yourself. And that is showing so much self-respect and care that it's an amazing thing, an absolutely amazing thing. So just make sure that you're aiming for consistency and, not perfection. Have that flexibility with yourself. Allow yourself to do that. I hope that helps. How to refocus when things go a little bit wrong. Do you know what I think? We are human beings. We're not robots. And there will always be times when we feel like we are so on it and we are flying. And there'll be times when we just feel like you were cruising. And there'll be times when we just feel like, oh my gosh, what on earth happened? This has gone totally, totally wrong this week. What I always say is, zoom out, first of all. Let's see the bigger picture. One bad day, one bad week does not undo everything you've ever done or undo any progress. Life happens. We go away on holiday. Stress happens. Illness happens, whatever it might be. And it's most important to think, how quickly can we refocus? How quickly can we just draw a line, move on? Because that will determine your success in the long run. Not about whether you have a slip up, like whatever. It happens. We're human. The thing that will determine whether you're successful or not is if you let that spiral, you let it carry on, or if you just draw a line immediately and think, never mind, oh well, let's move on. Rather than, and also just trying to detach yourself from what has or hasn't already happened, or how perfect you were being before and now you're not. So what? It doesn't matter. We're only human. So just check in with yourself honestly, and maybe just reflect, okay, what was it that threw me off? It was this and this. Right, okay, so what do I need right now? I need a little bit of structure. Okay, I'm gonna make a plan. I also need a bit of accountability. So maybe that is writing on the accountability post in the Facebook group. Yeah, I'll be there, Lorna, or my plan tomorrow is this. And also give yourself a bit of grace. It's okay to slip up. It's fine. It's human. And we're not going to think about it now. We're just going to draw a line and think about what we're going to do next, because that's the important part. So maybe another thing to do as well is, yeah, of course, like make a plan for moving ahead, right? What am I going to do this week? Make it realistic for you, and don't try and overcompensate in any way for what has or hasn't happened. Doesn't matter, whatever. This week's important. And then choose one thing that you can control today. And it might be something so small as having an extra glass of water. Or it might be literally planning your classes. Or it might be, right, I'm going to batch cook this dinner tonight. So I'm going to make a bit extra and then I'll freeze it and use it next week. Or I will use it for my packed lunches for the next 2 days. But just don't try and overhaul everything at once, because it doesn't work. Let's just realign, and give yourself a pat on the back for doing it as well. So best thing, draw a line. Okay, let's move on to some nutrition and eating habits. How can I avoid stress eating with difficult children on holiday? Now, holidays can be really full on. Routines can go out of the window, and despite being away, going on holiday, away to relax, actually stress can be really quite high sometimes. So I think it's important to notice the pattern within yourself. Are there certain times, or are there certain triggers? Maybe, I don't know, if the kids are bored or having meltdowns or whatever it might be, or arguing, that lead to emotional eating. So what are your triggers? So first of all, notice your danger points. Where are they? So that's the first thing, awareness. So this is happening right now. So that means that I'm probably going to want to do X. Zoom out of what's actually going on. And then put a pause in there. Put a pause in before acting. So give yourself a window. Give yourself a window before heading to the kitchen, or before shoveling the next few bites into your mouth. Put your knife and fork down if you're at the table. Have some water. Have a moment and put the power back in your hands, because that's what you're doing by pausing. Because sometimes when we act in the moment, it almost feels like a subconscious thing, and we feel like it's something that we can't control. Yet we are actually the one who is putting the food into our bodies. So of course we're in control, but we don't feel like we are. So in order to feel like we are, we just have to put a pause in there. So maybe knife and fork down, have some water. Okay, this is why I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now. I'm wanting to do this because this has happened right now. Okay, I can see that, right? I've got two choices. I can lean into it and I'm probably going to feel worse after, or I can just literally have a moment. I'm just going to take a few breaths and then I'm going to resume. I'm just going to eat my dinner slowly and mindfully. Or if you're, say, not around food at the time, but you know that you're going to want to go and, say, like, raid the cupboard or the kitchen, give yourself 5 minutes to go and do something else. And what will happen is you're surfing the urge, and it will just pass, and actually it will lessen over time. And the more you practice doing things like this, the easier it becomes. It really is like when you're training a muscle. If you want to get stronger glutes, the more you do squats, the stronger your glutes are going to get. Same with biceps. The more you do bicep curls, the stronger your biceps are going to get. Same with this kind of thing. Surf the urge, it will become easier. And then just think as well, if it's snacks that you're grabbing, make sure you've got nutrient dense ones, so nutritious snacks that aren't going to make you feel rubbish and give you like a sugar crash, which will actually make stress even worse. And if you are in the moment, chew more. Put the pause in there. Think about nourishing your body, and also think about what you really need in that moment. Do you need to just excuse yourself and go to the toilet so you can just have a little moment to breathe and just take yourself out of the situation and come back in? What do you need in that moment? Or maybe you just ride it out and then after dinner, you and your partner have a really big hug. You're both there for each other. What do you need? What do you need in that moment? Chances are we probably don't need to stress eat, because it probably just makes us feel even worse at the end of it. But if it does end up happening, just draw a line under it and move forward. It's the best way. One moment or one little slip up isn't going to define your whole entire week. So just make sure you do, treat yourself with compassion as well. When should I eat my last meal of the day? I hear so much about different fasting plans, and I'm wondering how much my late dinner times actually impact my metabolism. Okay, there's so much noise around this. And the short version is, eating late can have an effect on your sleep quality and your digestion, but it's not going to ruin your metabolism. What matters most is your overall nutrition over the day and the quality of your meals. So in terms of eating late at night, what it can do, if you have a heavy meal before you go to bed, your body is trying to digest the food. So really, when we need to be in a state where we're engaging the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the nervous system that is bringing the body down, it's relaxing us, It's getting us into sleep mode, if you like. Instead, we're engaging the sympathetic nervous system, the one that's kind of ramping things up. Because come on, we need to digest this food and then get it through into the bloodstream. And at the same time, you're trying to tell the body to relax and chill out. But yeah, it's trying to digest your food. Things are heating up. And ideally, we want to be slowing things down. So that is a reason why it can affect your sleep. It might affect either the quality of your sleep, so you might struggle to get into a deeper sleep to start off with, at least anyway, or you might struggle to get to sleep initially. You might be a little bit more alert. Also, depending on what you've had, if you've had something that is maybe a little bit more sugary, for example, you might be really feeling quite alert when you go to bed, and that isn't going to help with sleep. And it can also make digestion a little bit sluggish. Some people who have, but for some people, actually, it's impossible to eat earlier. And they want to give themselves a nourishing meal. Say if you work really late, or say if you're a shift worker, you want to give your body a nourishing meal, and it's just going to happen this way. And if it doesn't affect you that much, fine, fair enough. You've got to do what is important for you. And at the end of the day, it's about the overall quality of your nutrition. But if you can, ideally, you'd leave your last meal, you'd have it 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed to allow your body to digest the food, and it might help you to sleep better too. But if it doesn't suit your lifestyle, then don't worry about it. In terms of impacting metabolism, no. If you want to improve your metabolism, you want to improve your lean muscle mass. To improve your lean muscle mass, you've got to strength train, eat enough protein, and also get enough rest, get enough good quality sleep. But the most important thing you can do is make sure that you are strength training and improving your lean muscle mass. And so don't worry about exactly when you eat your last meal of the day. If you can, in an ideal world, just 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And then that's the best thing you can do. But it's more about consistency and balance over time, as opposed to getting perfect timing in. Right. Okay, so I think we've got one more little question here until we move on to the exercise side of things. Is the idea of the journal to stick to those days, or more a plan of how many sessions you'd like to do? It's sometimes difficult to plan and know how my week will be on a Sunday. Yeah, absolutely. The journal is more of a guide, so it's not a strict rule book. It's to map out your intentions of the week. Ideally, how many sessions you'd like to do. Make sure you're getting a spread of strength, holistic, and cardio, so you've got a good balance of your workouts, but you don't need to follow it to the exact day time. And if your week changes, which for a lot of us often it does, then it's just about adjusting. I personally think, say for me, I do it, and I always work out in the morning because I find that actually I've got more control over my time in the morning than I have later on in the day. So I find that actually by working out in the morning, there is less flex in a way, which is a good thing. But it doesn't matter if, say, on some days that workout doesn't happen on that day. I will just shuffle it, and that's fine, because I know that the workouts that I planned for that week are a good balance of workouts. It's the quantity I want to do. It's the variety that I want to do. So I know that if I stick to that plan somehow, even if it takes a bit of shuffling, then that's okay. And then it still feels like a sense of accomplishment. But it's not about feeling bad for not exactly sticking to the plan. It's about having a framework, and having a framework, creating a framework really helps you to stay consistent and also be aware of your goals as well. I think some of the best weeks can sometimes be where we've actually just had to adapt rather than give up completely. So it's not about being perfect every day. It's just about progression always. But I always think it's good just to have that framework, even if it does end up being a bit of a rough framework, so you've got something to follow. And I don't know about you, but I find it really quite motivational actually to each week look at my plan. I get kind of excited about what I'm going to be doing and why I'm going to be doing it. So I always have like a little mini goal in the back of my mind. So at the moment, my goal is to mainly prioritize strength training and low impact, so I can't run anymore. So I get really excited about, okay, cool. So what am I going to do? Like, what can I do? And then focus on that. And if I need to shuffle the days, then I do. And that's okay. Okay, so exercises. Number 1, on the new Stronger, I'm finding it hard to keep up with the speed of the peanut press. This made me giggle. So we found out it's a clean and press. The peanut press, I think we should call it peanut press though. I prefer peanut press. With the speed of the clean and press, would it be better to reduce the weight to speed up, or to go down a bit slower with the heavier weight to keep my form and not do as many reps in the time? It doesn't really matter. It's a really good question. But always, always, always prioritize your form over everything. So if you need to slow it down to get good quality form, absolutely fine. Typically stronger, we are moving to the beat of the music. So it's a pre-choreographed class made by yours truly, and we are moving to the beat of the music. So if you wanted to continue at that rate, drop your weight down, make sure you are, you're getting good quality reps out of it. So we just want to think about control and good alignment. And if you feel like a heavier weight is compromising your technique or makes you feel really rushed just to try and keep up, then you're just better off lowering the weight. Or if you want to focus on the heavier weight, then just really slowing down the pace. We want to get stronger. We don't want to injure ourselves. So just go at a pace that feels controlled for you. That's what I would say on that one. So kind of either or, really. On that one in particular, we do want to get the heart rate up as well. I don't know if you're really not sure and you had to pick, I would just say lower the weight, be on the safe side, lower the weight, and try for the timing. But if it does feel too fast, obviously, yeah, slow down. Absolutely slow down. Best exercise to start with when you have a weak back to strengthen it and improve all-round mobility. Okay, brilliant. So if you have a weak back and you want to take it bit by bit, you want to focus on obviously activating the back muscles and focus on mobility. And these are the workouts that I would be looking at. So write these down and then go to the search bar function on demand and type these in. First and foremost, or just go to this whole entire section actually, Pilates. We have a lot of Pilates workouts that are specifically for the back. So go into, even type back into on demand, add some of those to your favorites or create a playlist for improving strength in my back, something like that. So I'd absolutely start there with Pilates specific back exercises. I would also then be looking at incorporating some booty band. So booty band is going to really improve, it's just going to improve the whole of your lower body strength and all the muscles that are going to be supporting your back as well. So I'd definitely be doing that. I would also be having a look at not just building up strength, but also releasing any tension in the area and the areas around it. So I would be thinking about doing, say today we did yoga lattes for the back and hips. To be honest, if you type back in, anything that is back strengthening and mobility and release will come up. Just get them all in and make sure you're doing a good variety. I would say some deep core work would be really useful as well. So if you type deep core into on demand, get that in there. That will massively, massively help your back strength. And then also things like stronger, really, really important to be lifting weights. But let's just start small and let's start controlled. So I'd say Pilates, deep core, and just type back in, get some mobility stuff in there, create a little playlist for yourself or in your favorites, and then be focusing on doing this, say 3 times a week. Even if one of them's like a short 10 minutes or something, be focusing on doing that. And little and often, it's going to really help to improve your back strength, and that is going to make you feel so much better in everything else that you do. If I'm not always getting DOMS, does that mean that I'm not doing enough or using heavy enough weights? Great question. So DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness, and it's that achy feeling you feel the day after or even 2 days after doing a workout. And it happens when we do a workout that is a bit more intense than usual, or something that our body is just not really used to doing. Now, it's not the only indicator of a good workout. And actually, if you're regularly training, your body becomes very efficient at adapting. So if you're not feeling sore the next day, it doesn't mean that you haven't had an effective workout. What's more important is that you are practicing progressive overload. So when we do stronger, towards say week 3, week 4, we start to add weights on. So we're lifting a little bit heavier, or we're doing more reps over time. And focus on, when you're in the workout, are you finding it challenging? Like, are you finding something that challenging? Focus on how you're performing in the workouts. And your body is probably just getting more efficient and fitter and stronger. So that could be a point of saying, okay, well, that's great. That's brilliant. I'm just going to stay consistent doing what I'm doing. Or if you're doing the workouts and actually you're going to say you're doing a stronger class and you're finding that the weight selection doesn't really challenge you, you're not really finding it very hard, then it's a good sign. Okay, well, I'm just going to up the weights. But no, it doesn't mean that you're not using heavy enough weights. Not everyone is going to feel sore every single day after a workout, particularly if you are working out regularly. Can I take part in the August push-up challenge when I'm struggling with my pelvic floor, or should I just skip it? Now, it really depends on the severity of the issues and how your pelvic floor is responding. So push-ups, especially the full ones, when you're on your toes, it can put quite a lot of strain on your abs and on your pelvic floor. So quite a lot of intra-abdominal pressure. you might want to adjust a little bit. You might want to put your knees down or put your hands on an incline on a step, or you can even do wall push-ups. Make sure you're not holding your breath as well. So we want to be exhaling, lifting up through the pelvic floor. And if you feel any sense of heaviness or dragging or maybe leaking, just stop. Don't do it. Always speak to a physio as well. I would say change the move. So you know how we're on the squat. You know how we're on the push-up challenge. Why don't you do squats instead? So you could do that instead, or you could change the move. But I wouldn't say that you can't do it. I think it just depends on how your body is responding to it. So maybe try doing wall push-ups, see how that feels. Okay, that feels great. Okay, let's try an incline. I'm going to put my hands on a step and I'm going to go on my knees. Let's see how that feels. And if you feel like you've got the core engagement, you're not feeling anything a little bit off in the pelvic floor region, then you might want to stick at that. So just see how you feel. But it's not a no. It's depends on how your body's responding. Okay. Anyway, gang, I really hope you enjoyed the Q&A this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you give it a rating. It just helps us to help more people. And also, I can see then if you're actually enjoying it and you're getting value from it, or share us on your socials. And if you're watching this on Facebook, give us a little comment and tell me what helped. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear your feedback. So I really hope you found it useful, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.